Okay, pay attention. We have a little math problem for you. You have $1.6 million. You subtract $1.6 million. How much do you have left? Got it? The answer is 0. Easy, right? Well, actually, it turns out that equation was way too difficult for the Albuquerque School District to solve. News 13 investigative reporter Larry Barker tried to explain it slowly and carefully. But as you're about to see, they just don't get it.
I would say that yes, $1.6 million was wasted.
The bottom line is the architect was paid $1.6 million to design a building that will never be built.
Absolutely right.
Take a good look at this state-of-the-art, energy-efficient food and nutrition warehouse. It's a massive structure designed to modernize and consolidate all food preparation and storage for the Albuquerque Public Schools. Currently, APS prepares 65,000 meals every day in an old, inefficient, and outdated building.
APS assembled a team of the best and brightest to put together a plan for the new food prep complex. They even hired an architectural consulting firm to lend a hand.
APS decided to build its new warehouse here in the Southeast Heights on land already owned by the district. There would be commercial kitchens, dry storage, cold storage, and freezers all in one building. In 2008, the school board gave the project a green light, and Albuquerque architect Claudio Vigil was hired to design the project. Over the course of the next 4 years, Vigil produced reams of technical drawings. Once constructed, the 2-story, 108,000 square foot commercial structure would look something like this digital rendering created for News 13. It would not only be functional, but energy efficient as well. APS announced the multi-million-dollar complex would open for business in 2011. That was 3 years ago. Today, the building site is still vacant, and this construction project, it never happened. In the end, APS paid an architect $1.6 million to design a building that was never built. And today, all APS has to show for the expenditure is a table full of architectural drawings. It's enough money to fund the operation of a Trisco elementary school for an entire school year.
Let's face it, $1.6 million is a ton of money.
Absolutely.
Brad Winter is Chief Operations Officer for APS.
So who's at fault then?
Well, I mean,
The
I guess
architect or
it could have
APS?
It could have been a little of both.
Kathy Court was elected to the school board in 2011.
APS can't afford to throw away a penny in either capital or operational monies. We can't afford it.
How did APS end up literally throwing away all that money? Well, remember the room full of experts who planned the building for this site? They calculated the construction costs, and then APS told the architect to design them a $12.5 million building.
But instead of designing a $12.5 million project, architect Claudio Vigil turned in plans for a $24 million building. Jaws dropped at APS.
The building that APS wanted to build cost twice as much as you thought.
Yes.
Somebody screwed up here, Brad. It's either APS or the architect. APS says, well, it'll only cost $12.5 million to build this building. The architect says, what you wanted is a $24 million. So it sounds to me like the experts here at APS didn't know what they were doing.
Well, I disagree with that because we have good experts.
Could it be that when you planned the building that your budget really wasn't realistic for what you wanted?
Absolutely. At the very beginning, it wasn't.
So APS raised the budget to $20 million and told the architect, try again. However, Claudio Vigil's second set of plans were still millions of dollars over budget.
But it came back at $23 million. That was still not acceptable to us.
So APS changed direction. Never mind a new building, perhaps the old one isn't so bad after all.
APS sent Vigil back to the drawing boards for a third time, now to design a renovation of the existing kitchen and storage warehouse. But that project too was doomed. Just months after directing the architect to work up plans for the existing building, APS did a 180-degree turn. Now, planners decided to buy the old Kmart building on Lomas, renovate it, and move all the food prep and storage to the Heights. The $1.6 million in architectural drawings were tossed aside. Claudio Vigil was dismissed and a new architect was hired. The Kmart building purchase and renovation will cost taxpayers $11 million.
Now, according to the district, they're actually saving money. Here's how they figure it. You see, they were going to spend $20 million on a new building. However, they're only spending $11 million on the Kmart building. Therefore, taxpayers realize a $9 million savings. Fuzzy math.
We're still saving $9 million of the taxpayer money instead of building this building.
But it took you $1.6 million to come to that
You
conclusion.
know, it took us a little more money, but in the overall end, it saves a lot of money.
Brad, is $1.6 million a little bit of money?
When you're saving $9 million of the taxpayer money,
In your opinion, is $1.6 million a little bit of money?
it's not a little bit of money, but when we're saving a lot of money, it was the right thing to do.
By the time you add it all up, Claudio Vigil invoiced APS $1.6 million for designs that were never used. What does Vigil have to say about all this? Well, we don't know. He did not respond to our repeated requests for comment.
And I don't know whose fault it was. It could have been everybody's, that we were planning a building we weren't sure of.
Really, we can't waste a penny. I've got schools on the west side that are waiting to be renovated. So 1.6 million that's lost on this project means 1.6 million less for other projects.
Are your architects here, the planners, are they experts in planning food warehouses?
Well, they are experts because they have their architectural licenses, yes. They are experts.
They didn't plan this one very well, did they?
Well, there was a difference of opinion between the contract architect and our architects. That's correct.
And it's the taxpayers who had to eat the difference, yes?
On this case, yes, but in the end, we saved the taxpayers money by not building that building.
Larry Barker, KRQE News 13.
Okay, for more on this story, including the architect renderings of that proposed building and the other two buildings, go to krqe.com and click on 13 Investigates.